So we have about a 6-month interlude here before the next time you get called back for the next election. What does everybody's character do? During this interim before it's time for the next set of campaigning.
Well, in one of our previous sessions, Bomber approached Prout for help, legal help and representation. And so what's kind of been happening with that? Because I think that'll determine some of what Bomber will have been doing over the last 6 months.
Yeah, so this is for his legal case against Abjuration Associates. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So
as a result of their negligence, Bomber was transformed into a puppet.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
The case.
So
that's his side of the case.
So Pralt calls you to his office. His now crowded, upgraded office, because now he's got his business and his town council affairs to take care of. And he says, we've been looking into every angle we can possibly find. The problem we're running into is that it seems that Abjuration Associates is actually denying that they actually sent you on this mission, and so they're not handing over any records. They're playing. They're trying to play the waiting game with us because they think they can wait longer than we can. So what we need to do two things. We need as much testimony, information, and records from you as possible, and we need some sort of information about the significance of what went on there. So the first, I assume that you can keep providing to me, because I assume you've handed over documentation, testimony, etc.
Yes, I signed a contract. It was all above board.
Yes, well, we've got your copy of the contract. If there's anything else you can provide, description of the event, of the site. I know you went back to the site at one point. If you can give us directions, I can send one of my people there to take down notes. But I think we're at the point where we need to gather information about this by absolutely any means necessary.
Pravda, my memory isn't. One of the things that changed within me wasn't just my body, but my mind as well. I don't remember everything. I don't remember the details, and it's disturbing to me. I don't have the strength that I once had, either physically or mentally. It's just, I had the contract. I handed that over to you. I know where it happened. I wish I could remember exactly what occurred. I'll do what I can to try and remember, and perhaps if there is something that you can do to send somebody out there to look into it. I'm sure that there's a wellspring of magic that's still there. There must be some remnant, some echo of what happened.
So we will absolutely send someone, but if you're willing to try something a little unconventional.
Well, look at me, Ralph.
Good. Okay.
The very definition of unconventional.
I'm going to give you a name. And a business that's in Absalom that I want you to go to and see what they can do to help. They specialize in retrieving information by unconventional means.
All right.
By
unconventional, do you mean illegal?
No, nothing like that. Just
because I'm fine with that. I just needed to know up front.
My father used to say, "The mind can forget, but fate always remembers."
I know somebody who would almost certainly agree with that.
She might not remember saying that.
Oh, he flips you a little business card, and it's got a name. It's got a name called what is the name of it? It's the business is called 3 Steps Ahead.
All right, thank you. Yes, I'll look into this. I'll pay them a visit.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
Oh, absolutely. And do you follow up on this?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
this is what Bomber needs, right? He just needs some means to move forward, some feeling of progression towards the outcome that he wants. So yeah, he absolutely would follow up.
Very good, very good. Okay, so you make this, I think it's like a 2-day journey to Absalom from Maravon. If it's not, that's what we'll say it is for our game. And you're kind of asking your way around, you're checking directories and things like that. You have been told that 3 steps ahead is in the Grand Bazaar, so that at least gets you to the right place. And you realize it's a fortune-telling establishment. And you go in and you're welcomed by this gnome, this hunched gnome. He's got long purple hair and he's wringing his hands and he says, "How can I help you?"
I certainly hope so. I've been directed to your place of business in the hopes that you might be able to find some information that currently eludes me. I come before you now not looking as I once did. I suffered an accident, and I'm trying to remember the details of it. But I wonder if you might have other means to discover the details of what happened.
We may peer into your past, but it requires also seeing your present and your future.
All right. Well, I am a man of faith. This isn't entirely unusual to me, but this isn't a method that I've ever encountered before. So talk me through it. What do I do?
Very good. You sit down, and he's at a little countertop. Basically, he starts to shuffle a deck of cards, and he says, "You sit down. You think about the event.
I'll try.
Think about the question." And he starts to deal out 3 cards, one at a time. The first card that he deals, let's find out what it is. Oops, did that go to the right place? That did not go to the right place. I'm learning how to do cards in Foundry. This is my project for myself. The first card he draws is a hero card called The Keep. So okay. I don't know if folks are familiar with the Harrow deck visuals. I can post these in Discord later if you want. But the Keep is this enormous castle that's on this rocky platform that has these clockwork legs that's kind of meandering across the countryside. All right, so this gnome draws this card, The Keep. And he says, there was supposed to be a place of security in your past, a place of protection, yes?
Yes, I'm a follower of Gorham, and what he tells us about this is that sometimes strength is found in places of safety. You need somewhere to regroup and recover your strength, and yes, that makes sense to me.
But the protection failed for you, yes?
Yes, I don't remember clearly. I was on an assignment, and I think I was given magical wards. Perhaps they failed.
Yes, It seems you were in the place of safety for something else. Perhaps you were the trespasser in the place of safety. And then he flips over a second card. It is the idiot card.
Yes, that sounds right.
Sounds right. This is so the way hero cards work, they each have an alignment and a suit. So this is the neutral evil card for intelligence. It's got a guy wearing a mask. He is manacled and is being poked along by 2 goblins with spears. You are being pestered. Yes, you are being forced along a path you do not wish to tread.
Yes, a lot has been happening. I mean, there's the people that I am in conflict with about this matter, Abjuration Associates. They are forcing me down a route that I didn't want to take, a legal route. It's not a battle I've ever fought before. As well as that, the town that I'm currently situated in is beset by problems almost constantly.
And he points to the guy in the idiot mask, and then he points to the 2 goblins. You are greater than they. Perhaps you are the
Well,
Perhaps
that's very
not
very
in
nice of you to say. You didn't have to say that, but
perhaps not in stature, but in spirit.
Yo.
Take heart. You are greater than they.
thank you. Bomb is actually quite touched by that because the idea of strength and heart and resoluteness is something that means a lot to him. So.
And then he flips over the final card, and it is the desert card. This card is neutral good. It features a sphinx carrying someone across the desert. And he says, you must trust in the process. You must trust in those who can carry you through a dangerous place.
I see. I've recently fallen in with a group that we've been brought together by circumstance, and so far we've had each other's backs, and that's a good place for a warrior to be able to have people that I can rely on in a scrape. So I will try.
He says this is a card of healing. All will be restored.
Thank you.
And then he taps the 3 cards: the keep, the idiot, and the desert. And he says, you choose.
Well, it feels I don't know why, but I'm drawn to the idiot card. I just feel like that really represents me in a way that people have told me throughout my whole life.
Sad.
You take?
I take. Well, I think if I claim this to be my own, then it can't be used against me.
Ooh.
So do you reach out for the idiot card?
I do.
Okay. As soon as you do, he grabs onto your wrist, slaps his hand on the card, and slides it out. He's still holding onto your wrist. And then he slaps the card onto your arm.
Oh.
And it feels burning against your skin. It doesn't hurt, but there's definitely smoke coming off. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like something is burrowing, marking on your skin. He pulls it off. The card is now blank. And you have now received the idiot tattoo from the newly yesterday released Ink Finder 2.
I love it. That's so cool.
Hi.
Hold on.
So I will send you a screenshot of that. In between sessions, I will actually get that added into Foundry because I didn't want to add all 54 because I didn't know which one you would draw. But yeah, you now have an idiot tattoo.
I mean, that honestly, that feels so fitting to me.
On your little stuffy cloth arm.
So
Yeah,
cool.
did they take the extra fire damage?
I was just gonna say that, yeah. So I'm weak to fire. So as soon as he feels a burning sensation, Bomber's gonna try and pull away. And despite his stature, Bomber's obviously a war priest. He's very strong, but even with his strength, he can't pull away from this, and it's because he's being held, I think, by the grip of fate rather than the grip of this gnome.
Nice. All right, you go.
Thank you. He's looking down at this new mark, and he's thinks to himself that he's collecting all these different marks because obviously he's got the ampersand dragon mark on his foot as well. So doesn't know what that means for him yet, but he trusts that all will be revealed.
Very nice. All right, who wants to describe their 6-month hiatus next?
Would I be able to look for the druids, or is that more of a during other period thing?
Sure. Yeah, you could go and look for the druids. Like I said, you weren't able to find them when you were consulting the spirits. It seemed like everybody kind of scattered. What do you do to go looking? What's your strategy?
I will go. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I am a druid. Would I know any particularly good strategies?
Go sing Sylvan
you know
songs.
that. What's that?
What is it? Isn't Sylvan the druid language? Go sing some Sylvan songs and see who comes.
Well,
out.
druidic is
Druidic.
but...
Sorry.
Yeah, druidic is its own thing. No, do you know Sylvan? You could try talking to. I mean, you've got wild
Okay.
empathy. You could go around asking, right?
I can have them like do stuff, I guess, and answers. I mean, they might be able to answer. I will ask them to lead me, I guess, if I can.
Okay. So you ask around, you spend maybe a week or so just trying to like I imagine you start at the Druid Stump where they meet with folks from Marathon, and you kind of try to look for tracks, you try to commune with some animals. The first few animals you ask, like over the first few days, they just kind of cower and they say, no, it's coming. And then they scamper away. And you're like, okay, that was wild. But as you get deeper into the forest, you get a little bit better response from them. Some of them will lead you deeper into the forest. It feels like they are, kind of leading you a place you need to go. Some of them just seem to lead you in circles. Some of them lead you back to where you were before. You kind of get the sense they might not be 100% sure themselves where the druids meet up. Is there any kind of animal in particular that is particularly that Gog is particularly fond of?
I'll say like fireflies, because or like little, because they they start their life as in the ground, I think, or other places, but then they also fly, and they drink water, I guess, I don't know, and they shine like fire, etc. So that's probably appropriate, and they're at night, which fits my doing stuff at night orcish thing.
Yeah, so after a couple weeks, you do stumble upon this swarm of fireflies. You do your wild empathy, you make your druidic overtures, and they start to they head off down a little pathway and kind of wait for you. And yes. if you follow them, then they're gonna go forward that same distance, and it does seem like they are leading you somewhere.
Well, I'll keep following.
Okay, so you keep following. It takes you most of the night. It's the only time you'd be able to see them anyway. So it takes you most of the night. But just as the sun is rising, they shut out their lights in this little copse of trees, and you see in front of you a gnome with purple long hair shuffling a deck of cards. I help you?
I ask in Druidic, can you?
I help you?
Perhaps.
He responds in common.
I will respond in turn. Yes, well, my journey has been far on this earth, but it seems that there is some path I must still go. You would not happen to know where I could meet with the local circle of druids, would you?
Oh, I know very few druids. I know no druids here, but the forest knows. Shall we ask the forest together?
Yeah. If you think you can, then I will go along with you to do so, but
sit down.
Okay.
Sit down. So you sit down across from him. He's got a stump between the two of you, and the player, just heard a description of. He shuffles his cards.
Yeah.
And he lays down a card here. And you find that he lays down the Survivor card. I don't know what order these are going in, but there we go. Let's see. What does the Survivor look like? The Survivor is a wounded soldier sitting on a throne surrounded by these spectral figures that look like they are trying to comfort him. You come from a place of great loss, yes?
The people, we have been trying to make our best here in Axside, but it has been struggle.
You fear. You have great fear of losing this community, yes?
Yes.
What do these druids have to do with your fears then?
The druids, I am a part of the people of Axside, but I myself am a druid, and I require some of their guidance, and frankly, it has been a little strange that we can't find them. If I need to keep surviving, I might need to do so.
He draws a second card. It is the Peacock, which is terribly misnamed because it actually shows a cockatrice. Didn't know those were related to peacocks somehow. The cockatrice, of course, famous for its petrification ability. Yes.
I look away from the card.
What you seek? What you seek may involve something lifeless, something stone, something not living.
Stone is something I can work with. But
yes, you may.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But in some ways, these rocks do have life. It might not be similar to the ones that you and I have, but they are similar in some ways. Although it is not quite my specialty, the spirits of everything. But I think, while I would not myself want to be petrified, I think there is a great honor in it.
Yes. You may find yourself face to face with the stone of the earth itself. And then he'll draw one last card for you. And he draws the Beating. Oh boy. The Beating is a card that depicts some poor hapless traveler with dozens of undead, fleshy, decaying hands reaching up from the ground, pulling him down. The path you tread is treacherous. There is more at work here than appears on the surface. There is something beneath, something deep and ancient that may threaten to consume you all.
Really? And this is because... And will we survive this?
The future always is uncertain. And again, he'll tap the three cards, the Survivor, the Beating, and the Peacock. You choose.
Well, I do think no, I don't think I actually have a Trinity Geo. Never mind. But
put it on the list.
There are some aspects of elementalism I do not have as much experience with. Earth is one of those, but I think that if I have to come to face the challenges from it, I must know it more, and I choose the Peacock.
Good. And again, he'll, just like before, grab your wrist. He slides the card out, slaps it onto your orcish arm. There's smoke coming out. It feels a burning, but it doesn't hurt. And you receive the peacock. You receive the peacock tattoo.
Oh, great. Well, I invite the burning, I guess, as it were, with my flame druidness, and yes. Now that I also have a tattoo, which it would also be familiar to me. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. But yes, I was like, and then I will say, like, very thankfully, this has been some great wisdom you've shown me here. I'll have to think about this.
wisdom is what one does with information. Walk in wisdom. You go. And
Okay.
I imagine you maybe make more forays into the forest, but you never find your gnome friend again. And the druids continue to prove to be elusive. You get the sense from the local wildlife they very well might be in hiding, even.
This has been quite the struggle, but I know we can press through. I'll yeah.
And then we've got Danya or Artemis left.
Do you want to go first, or?
Sure. I already know. I'm going. I have a hankering after spending so much time with the people that I want to go and learn more about myself in Absalom and about mysteries in general. I'm gonna go get my master's in mysteries, but I'm really going back so I can take the ancillary courses on Orc heritage that Absalom offers. So
Very
that's
nice.
really what. That's how I incentivize myself to finally go back. So.
Yeah, so you go back to this intensive Master of Mysteries program that takes 6 months. It's held by the College of Mysteries. You set up your relationship with your advisor. You start your thesis on Orc heritage, Orc magic, maybe even look into that Orc bloodline a little bit you saw last time. What does a thesis in Orc research look like?
Well, so my goal is with the College of Mysteries. So I think I would probably be trying to tie in how Orc heritage permeates all things, and it isn't something that can be necessarily taught. There are aspects of it that have to be felt and experienced in different ways. So that nebulous nature.
Yeah, so you actually fall in with an advisor who specializes in a very early period of Orc history that is referred
Perfect.
to as let me look up the name here. You look up a group called the Green Wanderers. Most people don't know a lot about the Green Wanderers, but this apparently was a group of orcs that was awake and active before Earthfall. Which is, of course, unusual because the orcs were asleep in the Darklands during this time. It was Earthfall and the dwarves kind of moving out on the quest for Sky that woke up the orcs. And so for there to be evidence of orcs around in stuff like Ancient Thassalon, it's like, whoa, I had no idea that like we were involved in this at all. And so you're putting together, scraps of information, things like that. It comes time for graduation day, and your advisor says, okay, you are ready to graduate. The College of Mysteries is prepared to certify you and award you the boons of a graduate of the College of Mysteries. There is, however, one final test you need to pass. And your advisor,
Sure.
she sends you to Master Erdru's office. You have never worked with Master Erdru. You've maybe seen the name on a placard, but you've never seen him at like colloquium or something. So she sends you to Master Erdru's office.
Does he even still teach? Okay, I'll go.
So you go up, you knock on the door to Master Erdru's office. Yes, come in.
I come in.
You come in, you find Master Erdru is a gnome with long purple hair. And are you here for your final exam?
I guess so.
He said, you sit.
Sure. I will sit. Erdru. Okay.
Yes. Before the College of Mysteries will graduate you, we must know who you are, truly, before we endorse you.
Know who I am? I already know who I am. Is this part of the test?
Do you?
Artemis.
Do you? Artemis is what you are called. It is not who you are. And he will
Artemis
reach
is
into
very
his desk.
It's gonna figure out your true
He
name.
will
True
reach
name magic
into
right
his-
away.
He will reach into his desk. He will pull out an innocuous-seeming deck of cards, and he draws one card first called the Liar. And he says, there is deceit around you. There is much that remains hidden. Yeah.
Rude, but yes. A lie is a tool. I'm no stranger to them.
Oh, very good, very good. He will draw a second card. And he draws the Queen Mother. This is a really weird picture. This is this insectile queen that has these subservient bugs like bowing, scraping to her. That's my patron. You seek a place of power, of authority in society, yes?
So Artemis doesn't really believe in fortune telling, but this is so like on the nose that I think even Artemis is kind of like, like sits a little straighter in the chair, is like, maybe a little bit. Sometimes I think about I should maybe be the one in charge.
And then he'll draw a third card. Let us see into your future. And he draws the Eclipse. This is actually one of the most powerful cards in a Harrow deck. It has, again, there's a horde of undead chasing after a guy under this blotted out sun. And he'll say, there is much for you to be wary of in your future, Mr. Graduate. Are you prepared for the challenges ahead?
I guess we'll find out.
Ooh.
They say that's
Time,
the spirit. Next time on New Orcs on the Block, and he'll tap the three cards. He'll tap the Queen Mother, the Eclipse, and the Liar. You choose.
Well, I've learned about my past, and I'm familiar with the present, but the future is what I must know. So I picked the Eclipse.
Right, and he again will slap this card onto your arm. It fizzles, it sizzles, and then you are marked with this rather horrific scene.
Let's see.
I suppose you could move it to your leg if you really wanted to, but I feel like the arm is a little bit more prototypical. The lie is a tool.
I have long sleeves, so I would probably keep it hidden most of the time anyway, but I would still
true
brandish it, proudly when I could. I would do the whole arm sleeve.
All right.
Oh, wow.
And you graduate. He turns your tassel for you. You go.
I go.
And I believe that leads us with Danya.
Oh, I wonder what's going to happen now.
So Danya, again, she knows something's happening. She doesn't think what's happened so far is the doom she's been predicting. So, if she can't figure out what, because she keeps trying and is not quite figuring out, she's like, let's be prepared. So she's kind of surveying the area, and it's like, how can we get ready? And it's like, okay, well, we're lumber people. How can I make the forest flourish as much as possible? She's like looking through the underbrush. How can I help it? And she's like, okay, what do we got for raw supplies? And when she finds bones, she just kind of buries them around so they're on hand for when she, needs some undead to help do chores for her or for, any battles that come up. So just stations all that stuff ready to go. Some of it's more better as fertilizer. So she's just kind of prepping, and she keeps trying to see more into the future. And the more she doesn't see, she's almost getting more frightened because she just can't tell. So she's just jumping at shadows now and is just almost scrambling.
And what kind of experiments are you doing with these bones that you find? Are you trying to animate them, or are you just saving them for a rainy day?
Some are for a rainy day, some are animating, but for some reason people are getting disturbed by it. She's like, she needs to carry some heavy loads. So she puts together a skeleton, almost like more like a, like maybe a skeletal horse or something to carry things. And they're like, what? Move stuff around. You don't like that? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll put those away for later. you know.
Yeah. At one point, Reganus Cantor kind of comes up to you and says, "Look, we really appreciate you trying to help here, but part of the orc spirit is that we do things ourselves.
Oh,
We don't hoist things off onto artificial innovations to do the heavy lifting for us. We really prefer, even if it's less efficient, to do things ourselves. Does that make sense?"
yes. Oh, okay. I get it. What should I do?
Yeah. So we really appreciate. Why don't you save those for more defensive posturing?
Yes. Around the edges, I will plant them. Like little saplings.
And as you're maybe like putting together these bones, kind of putting them back in storage, you realize you're not alone. There is another little creature that's kind of picking through the bones, looking for things,
They have
maybe
purple
finds an
hair.
interesting little what do you call the bones in your hand? They're just the little like round things that go in there.
Metatarpal.
Yeah. Finds maybe a phalanges.
Oh, okay.
And this little gnome with long purple hair looks at you
You
and
need
says, "You share? You share?"
Well, sure. Yeah, I don't need all of them.
Oh, okay. And he'll open a pocket in his vest, and you see all this collection of random stuff, like obscure, dare I say, esoteric stuff in his vest pocket, and he just adds it to all this little random stuff. And he says,
Can we talk collections?
I must express a thank you.
Yes.
I must express a thank you
I got
to
this
you.
great coffee shop we can
May
go
I?
to, you know? Let's go. Get me coffee.
Oh, we go to coffee shop?
Yes.
I buy you coffee?
Yes.
I buy you coffee.
Give me coffee.
And he'll waddle off to get you a coffee at the new coffee shop that Sovereign has been opening. And he'll say, I show you something? I show you something about you?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
I show you. And he will take out an innocuous looking deck of cards, start to shuffle them. And he will first draw the Juggler. This is a happy little card. It's got a giant juggling, an elephant, and a statue,
You're
and a
telling
house.
me a
some,
fortune?
some random things.
You're telling me a fortune? I tell fortunes too. Oh, we are kindred.
We trade fortunes.
Trade fortunes.
We trade fortunes.
I won't
We trade
interrupt.
fortunes.
Okay,
And-
okay. What is this? Sorry.
And he'll tap on the Juggler card and he'll say, "You have much going on around you. You are attempting to balance many things. Yes.
Yes. I just wish I knew what.
Is it? Do you find it easy? Do you find it difficult?"
Yes.
I ask a logical or question. You give me a yes. That's very funny. He will draw a second card.
Mhm.
And he draws the Winged Serpent.
Oh.
This is actually the last one in the set alphabetically. This is a coatl, this sort of angelic serpentine being that's got wings. It's coiling around itself. It's a wisdom-based card. And he'll say, you are seeking insights into many things, yes?
Yes. I don't know what's coming. Help me see it.
Do not be afraid to look up
I'm frightened all the
to the realm
time.
of the spirits. Do not be afraid to look up at the spirits to see what is coming.
It's up.
Trust the spirits.
Okay.
And then he'll draw one last card. And he draws the Rabbit Prince. So this is a fun little card. It's got this almost jokey looking rabbit who is marching forward with a sword, but the sword is shorn off. And so you're not sure what the rabbit is doing with the shorn off sword, but he says you are trying your best. You are marching forward with what you have, perhaps headlong into battles you may or may not be prepared for.
I believe that. Yes, that's about right. I'm trying.
But you must march. You must march. You must. And he'll tap the three cards: the Juggler, the Rabbit Prince, and the Winged Serpent. You choose.
Juggler, the Rabbit Prince, the Juggler, the Rabbit Serpent. Rabbit Prince. Yes.
Prince, good choice, good choice. And he will again slap this onto your arm. It burns a little bit, but it's like it feels like something is being created there.
It's like a wood burn.
You
'Cause I'm a
receive.
plant.
It's like a wood. It's like wood burning. Yes. And you
the
receive
tingles.
the Rabbit Prince tattoo.
Ah,
Let me send you to that.
let me see.
So I put screenshots of these in our Discord. I do not remember who got which, so hopefully other people do.
Yeah.
But I think it went Vamba, then then Gog, then Artemis, then Danya. I think was the order. There we go. Now we've got a record.
If they're still holding my hand, then I take their other one, and I go into a trance of secrets, take an action for that, and start babbling and say, ask me something, and I will help you understand it. I can help you. I don't know how.
I wish to know where my missing cards are.
Your missing card. You just use the cards.
And he'll hold up his hands, and the rest of the deck has vanished. I wish to know where my missing cards are.
You're allowed to roll a recall knowledge check with inexplicable knowledge.
Oh, I can roll a recall knowledge. Wow. I need to make up some stats for this guy.
I don't know. I'm just messing around now. Danya is thrilled with this afternoon. Hope she has made a new friend.
Yeah, he's scratching his head. He's fumbling with his dare I say esoteric implements there. And he says, I am not sure.
I just help people find the things. I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. I have learned where not to look. Thank you.
There you go. Okay.
And he will
Okay.
shuffle on off. All right, so you spend this 6 months, helping out at Axai, doing your studies, searching for druids, searching for, for financial restitution.